Good Friday morning, everybody. NTV Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear here, now just after 7 a.m. Just wanted to give you a quick weather update on what's going on out there right now and what we can expect as we go throughout the rest of the day. So here are the current weather alerts in effect for Newfoundland. We have a lot of them on the go right now. We've got rainfall warnings, we've got a freezing rain warning, we have winter storm and snowfall warnings out there. And if that weren't enough, some areas are also under both. As we take a look at the web browser here, what you can see is we've got some areas that are under both rainfall and freezing rain warnings, like the Avalon Peninsula North, Burin Peninsula under a freezing rain and a rainfall warning, Conagra under a rainfall and a winter storm warning, and St. John's also under kind of both freezing rain and a rainfall warning. And this is because we are going to see the freezing rain first, then the rain coming in later this evening, and as we go throughout a good chunk of our day on Saturday. But the freezing rain in some areas, like the Avalon Peninsula North, St. John's, and the Burin Peninsula, will last for several hours, and in some places it could be rather significant. As we take a look at the current temperatures across Newfoundland this morning, we can see that cold air is just edging closer and closer to eastern areas right now. 3 in St. John's, 3 in Grades Cove, 3 Winterland, 3 St. Lawrence. But as you look into Terra Nova, Bonavista, and Gander, temperatures are already down, if not below the freezing mark. And that's all to do with the wind direction. Where winds are onshore, where they're northerly, it is much, much cooler. Where winds are southwesterly, it's much, much warmer. And those northerly winds are basically right along that cold front, which I was talking about last night, which is set up currently like this. And that front is working its way south, and it will continue to push south as we go throughout a good chunk of the day. Areas where it has moved through, you can see those temperatures have plummeted like a rock. Happened last night in Corner Brook, down to -7 this morning, after being at 3 degrees 7, 8 o'clock last night. In Twillingate, the fall is more dramatic. At 2 o'clock this morning, it was still 1 degree. Now we are down to -6, and we are still seeing some of that, and it is now down to -6, and we are seeing snow in that area. We are seeing snow through Central right now. There's a view from the Grand Falls Windsor NTV Live Skycam. It's snowing in Corner Brook right now, not overly heavy for the time being, but it is still raining as we take a look at our live NTV Skycam overlooking St. John's and Logie Bay Road. We'll look at the live radar imagery, and what you can see right now is there is that rain and snow line currently trying to work its way down to the south. And sometimes you look at a radar and you wonder, how accurate is it? Where exactly is that rain snow line? Well, if we take a look at radar scope, you can actually see a couple of different products here. What you're looking at on the left is the precipitation type. So this is what the radar is thinking is rain versus snow, and the only area of snow it's picking up is out here around Gander. But as you look at this product here on the right, this is called correlation coefficient, and you notice this line sitting right in here. This line is telling us that right in here, there are precipitation targets that are not like the rest. So here, all the precipitation targets are the same, and here, all the precipitation targets are the same. So what we're looking at essentially up here is snow, and down here is likely rain, and this is the rain snow line, or this is the ice snow line rather, as it is continuing to kind of push its way down to the south. And as we go back to the weather graphics, we can actually pull that same product up here on the weather graphics. And there it is, the CC imagery, and you can see it really clearly right there as well. So there's that rain ice line or rain snow line currently in the process of working its way down to the south. It will do so as we go into the rest of the morning. Now backing the view out even further, we can see the system impacting the Maritimes. We've got heavy snow across New Brunswick and PEI, ice and sleet and ice pellets and freezing rain rather across parts of Nova Scotia, and rain across portions of western and southern Nova Scotia. Wider picture will show this is a far-reaching winter weather event impacting several thousand kilometers of the United States and eastern Canada, and the rain extends all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. And this is another reason that this weather maker is going to be one that will bring us a ton of rain. And I can show you another product here on the web browser called Integrated Vapor Transport, and what this will show us is how much water vapor is going to be working its way towards Newfoundland and Labrador. And as you can see, those dark reds there sitting right in there, that is a lot of moisture, and most of that is going to be directed towards southeastern Newfoundland over the next couple of days. That's now, we start this afternoon, and this is going through Saturday, and it looks like we see that moisture finally departing early Sunday morning. So we have a lot of moisture to get through before we are all said and done, and that's actually a telltale sign of an atmospheric river. A narrow area of moisture pointed at one location, which is what we are going to see as we move here into the next roughly 24 to 36 plus hours. Now, we can look at Futurecast, and this will give you a good idea as to what we can expect as we go throughout the rest of the day. So here's 7 o'clock this morning. As we go into 10 o'clock, there's the freezing rain showing up across the Avalon, Burin Peninsulas. Southern areas may remain mostly rain. By midday, Burin Peninsula, you're seeing mostly freezing rain and/or ice pellets. Same thing on the Avalon, freezing rain, ice pellets, snow back to the north and west. By this evening, that hasn't changed much, so we're in for several hours of freezing rain for areas that see it. Areas north and west of there, snow is going to get heavier as we go throughout the day today. This evening, we may see that rain-snow line, the ice-snow line, begin to shift back toward the north and west. So by midnight, the Avalon's starting to see more rain, Burin Peninsula starting to see more rain, but we may begin to see some ice pellets mixing in with the snow around Terra Nova and Gander overnight as well. If not tonight, then definitely tomorrow morning as it does get close to Gander. But the closer you get to that rain line, the more freezing rain you're going to see. And once you're on the other side of the freezing rain line, it's going to rain very heavily through the day Saturday, through Saturday evening. But the problem is not going to be where you see the rain, although we are going to see heavy amounts of rain. It's the area that sees freezing rain through this entire event, which looks like it's going to be somewhere across eastern Newfoundland to the west of the Avalon Peninsula and perhaps northern parts of the Burin Peninsula. And if we see a lot of freezing rain in these areas, we are going to start to see some utility issues from the freezing rain coming down. Snowfall is going to be significant as well, as will be the rainfall. So when it comes to the rain outlook, hasn't changed since yesterday. Burin Peninsula, southern parts of the Avalon, 75 to 100 millimeters of rain, and part of that is because that atmospheric river I was just talking about. Farther north, rainfall amounts are going to be somewhat less, but still not insignificant. We talk about the ice accumulation. This is what I'm actually worried about the most, especially for those areas from Clarenville on to northern parts of the Burin Peninsula and around the Conagra Peninsula, where it looks like 20 to 25 millimeters of freezing rain is expected. Now, when it comes to ice coating objects, it will be somewhat less, probably about 7/10 of that. But even so, we're talking about 10, 15, 20 plus millimeters of rain on power lines, on trees, and that will certainly cause some issues. Even on the Avalon, we're looking at 5 to 15 mils of freezing rain this evening, or this afternoon into this evening. We can take a closer look, and I can actually kind of pinpoint some of these areas for you. So the computer is showing the higher elevations around St. John's picking up 13 or so millimeters of freezing rain today, enough to coat trees and power lines, but hopefully not enough to cause any issues. But as we go over to the west, this is around Roncon or east, just inland from there around St. Albans, around Pools Cove. It's this area that I'm concerned about most, seeing the highest amounts of freezing rain, because look, when I kind of pull this one here around Terrenceville, it's showing 47 millimeters of freezing rain. Now, I don't think that is right. Hopefully it's not, but if it is, this is the area where we're going to have some utility issues because of the freezing rain, and we won't know that until basically later tonight and tomorrow, where that freezing rain continues. I suppose the best course we could hope for is that instead of getting freezing rain in this area, we get a good bit of ice pellet accumulation. But as of right now, this looks like a setup for freezing rain, which is something that I don't particularly like, because when you start getting amounts over 25 millimeters of ice accretion on objects, trees, and power lines, which if we're going to see a lot of freezing rain is certainly a possibility, that's when you start to get that extensive damage to trees and utilities. So Newfoundland Power is going to be keeping a close eye on this, and Hydro will as well, and I'll be watching it over the weekend and today as well for you, keeping an eye on what's going to be going on. Once we're away from the freezing rain, we're looking at a very heavy snow event for areas of central, southern, northeastern Newfoundland, 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. Locally higher amounts certainly possible, but also keep in mind areas in the east will see a mix of snow, ice, and rain. So it's going to be very, very messy in these areas as well. So that's what we're looking at insofar as the rain, insofar as the snow, and insofar as this whole thing. It's going to be very, very messy. The weather's going to get very, very active as we go throughout the day, and I will be tracking it for you. I'm already tracking it this morning, so stay tuned to my Facebook and Twitter and maybe YouTube for updates. I'm going to try and go live this afternoon, and I'll keep you updated today, tomorrow, and as long as needed, as always. All right, folks, hopefully that gives you a good idea as to what we are going to see as we go throughout the day and the weekend. Stay safe and stay tuned for further updates.